Marvel Rivals. Let's talk about Psylocke. This is the third time I'm recording this commentary. I want to fucking shoot myself. But I'm not going to because I can't have a gun. We don't live in countries where guns are easy to find, and all the we can find probably wouldn't do the job. Anyhow, Psylocke is an amazing character that is probably going to be nerfed, and this is my first gameplay with her. I would absolutely love to play this character more, but sadly I don't get the opportunity because right now the game is completely plagued by people picking duelists that don't know what they're doing, don't do any damage, don't support the team, and end up leading to absolute abject failure and losses that cannot be avoided. And even then, when I pick support and I pick tank to support these duelists that can't duel, we still lose. So it just feels like a really frustrating situation. I wish I could get a public survey out there to people that team composition is the most important aspect to this game. It doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how good your aim is, doesn't matter if you think you're big dick or not. If you do not have the team to support you, you cannot do your role. This is not Call of Duty, this is not fucking Halo. You can't just run around, pick up a power weapon and then kill everybody, even though if you were going to do that playstyle on someone, Psylocke is definitely the person to do it on because she is phenomenal. And in this video, you're going to see me play her as kind of a frontlines Punisher-esque playstyle, because I wasn't doing what makes her so strong or makes her so dangerous, which for people who are a bit more learned in this particular type of game, it is getting behind enemies, coming at them from awkward angles, isolating their supports, isolating their duelists if they're weakened or putting some damage on them, and of course finishing off their tanks. Your job is to be behind enemy lines. You have all the tools to survive if you use them the correct way. You have this wonderful gun that works as a shotgun that's very generous, very damaging, and is hit scan. You have a secondary fire that just adds burst damage like no one would believe. You have dodges that can be both for mobility to get to high ground and to get out of danger, but also to attack and make it so your enemies can't hit you. And then when you really start losing the gunfight or get outskilled, you can turn invisible, which gives you the ultimate mix-up of resetting into a heal, resetting into a reload, or just simply not being where you were when you needed to use it. If you combine all these tools together, you have a character that is as capable as the person using them, and they have a really bullshit ultimate too. So at any moment with this girl, if you get your ult, you have a pocket nuke that no one can contest, and it's the most anti-skill garbage ever. You press one button and you get to win. It feels terrible to die to. It doesn't even feel that good to use, but it is objectively really strong, and you need to be building that ult. You need to be ambushing. And on this particular instance, my aim went to shit, I start losing, I run away, I get the heals, and I live to fight another day. And this is what makes Psylocke so strong. She gets in, she gets out, she can be incredibly tough to kill, she can be really fast to kill you. Like, watch this groove. No, we're going to get the slow-mo, so you can't watch it, but as long as your aim is on point, you are putting people down, you are putting pressure. She has so much potential, and that's coming from someone that's not even playing her in the right ranges or picking the right routes. Because she is a 5-star difficulty character, but that does not seem apparent when you first pick her. She just feels really fucking good, and really fun too. But the reason she's 5-star is that all of her abilities work on cooldowns that are tied to her ability to aim. So if you cannot aim with this character, you can't get your cooldowns back, you can't use more abilities, you can't be as effective as you could be if you are getting those shots and landing those criticals. So she lives and she dies by how smartly you use her, but she is immediately strong, and even in the hands of a not-so-talented Psylocke, a lot of damage can come your way. And at any moment she has a win button of going into this and then immediately going invisible afterwards to get out of there. She is a menace. And in competitive play, I'm almost certain this character will be banned, because I feel like if you give it to anybody that knows anything and has the mechanical skill to back it up, you're just going to have a nightmare to deal with. And as I mentioned earlier, I would really like to play her more and learn her routes, because I've been playing a lot of Thor and a lot of Captain America and a lot of Venom, just because the lobbies have necessitated a tank, because nobody else wants to pick it, and I'm not really a tank player, I'm not much of a tank guy, but I want to be well-rounded and I want to help the team, and I don't want to just lose on a team of duelists, you know? So when I've picked these characters, they've given me an appreciation for things that I'm not doing in these gameplays and not really thinking about, although the more this gameplay goes on, you'll see the more confident I get with her. and you'll see that I do more flanks and more, you know, tricky plays where I go and try and get the enemy from an interesting angle and cut them off and displace the team and whatnot as Hela pops the ult. But because I've been playing these dive tanks, as people call them, I've got this appreciation for timing that I didn't have before. I've got this appreciation for knowing when to go in and when not to go in, and going in from an angle where they don't expect it, causing some chaos and then getting out. And I think once you start playing that, especially if you play it on Black Panther or on Wolverine, as I get wrecked just then, I shouldn't have pushed as aggressively as I did, but I tried my best, and my best wasn't good enough. When you play these heroes that you have to be smarter with because you can get melted, and you can't just stand there and trade, it teaches you the importance of ambushing, of actually assassinating, of understanding how strong it can be when you are behind an enemy that does not know you are there. And that's where these layers of this genre start to shine. You hear people say frontline, you hear people say backline. I didn't know what those terms were going in, but of course once I hear them I can immediately understand what they are because I've played a lot of games. So from that you start to understand the dynamic that people are talking about and the roles that people are playing. You start hearing this term of diving, of picking, of peeling, you know, these different terms, and when you start thinking about them and you start playing and you start trying to implement some of the stuff you're learning, you do get this grasp of what's expected of you in your roles and that each of these roles complement each other. And sometimes you can be the best player on a character that you love, but if your team is not complementing you in the way you need to be complemented, you can't work. You can't do what you need to do to help them. And that's where I think as a better player, once you start getting better, you start to appreciate that you had a bad round that game, not even necessarily because you played terribly, but because you couldn't get anything going and their team could. And right now, this is not the range to play this character, but I have no team presence at all. And I want to go in and get on the objective because I don't want to lose, but they have 3 people here, and this is a really dumb push, and I'm going to make a really bad mistake here. I needed to get to the HP. Hela killed herself just then, which was cool, but I didn't quite catch that plus sign, or I could have stayed in the fight. And this is another thing where, I don't know if you guys struggle with this, but I certainly do. I struggle with the idea of separating wanting to win from playing my role. So just then, my job was to go and hit those guys from behind and come at a better angle. I didn't do it. That's my fault, you know. However, I don't want to lose, so I threw myself on that objective just to buy some time, hoping that the team was going to follow, and in that instance, they didn't. And of course, you can't always control what your team are going to do, you just hope that they have the savvy to follow you or at least make a push. But this area, this map I really like, and I think this is a good map for Psylocke. This is a map I have got a lot more confidence in because I know it. And I know about the flanks, and I know about the corners, and I know where some of the heals are, so I'm going to get the objective, I'm going to play as aggressive as I can on these 2 lanes, and then when I get the opportunity, I'm going to push a bit further in. Additionally, having your ultimate enables you to overextend and be a lot more aggressive. Like right now, I pop my ultimate against this Hela, which is not good to do. Solo ultimating a Hela is just terrible. Like, if I should lose this fight, but I don't. See, right there, he deserved to beat me because I pulled out all the tricks to get rid of that person, because Hela's the most dangerous character in the game, if you ask me. And it almost worked, but then I had to pull out everything else afterwards, showing you just how capable this character's kit is. And I am on the point here with 2 different people getting rushed by this Wolverine, but I go invisible, and he can't do anything about it. Our team gets pushed off. Their team has got a lot of momentum right now. We need to start being more subversive. Hela does her ult. I'm going to try and get away from it, but it has lots of splash damage, and I get picked off by a Punisher anyway, so I can't do too much about that. But back into the fray, very close now. I move over to the right hand side because they're pushing our spawn. I see the Hela, I land my shots this time, and I manage to kill her. And that's the thing with Psylocke. If you don't land, you don't kill. And you need to be on. I saw that there was a lot of people then, I'd overextended a little bit, I pulled back. Again, it's more of a frontline Psylocke than it is how I would like to play her now. But you do have to practice this playstyle, guys, and it's not immediately apparent. Like, if you pick Wolverine, you're probably going to get melted, because you don't know how to do it unless you come from Overwatch and you played one of the characters there that did it, you know? It's a mindset, and it's a type of gameplay that I do not think of naturally. It doesn't come naturally to me. I want to take gunfights head on. I want to outskill people. I want to put my mouse on them more than they put their mouse on me, because that's just how I like to play shooters. But in a game such as this, it doesn't always benefit what you're trying to do. You have to be smarter. You have to think about the angles. You have to think, like, see the Wolverine there waiting? He's doing exactly what I need to be doing as well. I need to be getting into a position where I'm ambushing like him. But instead, I'm just going full aggro and outgunning people that have better range than me. So Hela moves in here, her team aren't pushing with her, Punisher's there, I finish Punisher off, I go in after the Hela, and I'm confident in my aim, so I can overextend like this. And you can totally do this with Psylocke, that's the flexibility of her character. But ideally, you know, you want to be dividing, conquering, hitting from the back line, just being a nightmare. And as soon as we get pushed, I press the win button to try and get them off. We get rid of Wolverine. Over here's the enemy Psylocke. I get protected by Magneto, which is really powerful, and then I come back through there and pick off Jeff. And right here, I know that we've got this in the bag, because with the teams on the point, the enemies are being absolutely displaced. What more could you want? And there we go, guys, the first instance of an incredibly capable character. Try her out, guys. She has to get nerfed. I just can't imagine her staying the same. She's too good, and if you're good, she's even worse. Thank you for watching, and you take care now.